Hi guys, Madish Faye here and welcome back to my channel. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so now so you don't miss any more of my videos. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 6 steps that you can use to find your personal style. So you're probably wondering, what is personal style? Personal style is a person's unique way of expressing themselves through their clothing, accessories, hairstyle, and how they put an outfit together. It's a reflection of who someone is and what they want to communicate about themselves. I feel like that's important to understand going into these steps. So the first step to finding your personal style is to stop buying things. Stop buying shoes, clothing, accessories. Just go ahead and take a break on buying anything else until you go through some more of these steps. Otherwise, you're just bringing more things in, and if you don't know what your personal style is or how to find it, then all these items that you're bringing in might not even be your personal style, and you're just cluttering your wardrobe, and then you end up with a closet filled with things but nothing to wear. During this period of not buying anything, and that can be up to you, it doesn't have to be a whole no-buy year. It can be a week, it can be a few days. Just stop buying things and focus on what you actually have. You're going to be using this time to not only shop your closet, but also take note of what you actually use. Pay attention to the clothing that you're wearing and the clothing that you actually like in your wardrobe. You should also spend this time putting together outfits. Going through your closet, pulling out pieces, putting them on, and making outfits that you absolutely love and feel like you. Anytime you put a certain clothing item onto your body and you look in the mirror and you say, wow, this feels like me, put those outfits on and take pictures. This is going to come into play in some of the other steps, but this is super important not to skip. Not only is this going to help identify what already in your wardrobe feels like you, but you're also going to get a sense for your personal style by doing that. During this process, you don't want to pay attention to aesthetics. You really want to pay attention to how these outfits make you feel. They don't need to fit into one aesthetic, and that will come into play in another step. But just focus on the outfits that when you put them on, feel like you. Step 2 is all about aesthetics and personal flair. Aesthetics aren't necessarily bad when it comes to finding your personal style, but I think a lot of people use aesthetics as I can only have one aesthetic, or I have to fit into these aesthetics. And if you're really looking for your personal style, more than likely you're not going to fit in just 1 or 2 aesthetics. Most people are multifaceted and they're interested in a lot of different things. Just having 1 or 2 aesthetics that you have to fit into is just not going to be realistic. If you're completely lost and you don't know where to start, then I do think aesthetics are good to kind of help you get a general idea of what you might like and what you might want to look into further. So I recommend picking 3 different aesthetics. They all don't have to be cohesive. It does work if they do kind of mesh well, like say if you really like the cottagecore aesthetic and you also like the fairycore aesthetic. Some of those pieces are definitely going to overlap, but they don't have to. If you're really into rustic and you're really into fairycore and you're really into maybe the earthy girl aesthetic, all of these can be harmonious within your personal style and your personal flair. And by mixing different aesthetics that maybe don't necessarily go together, that's how you can find your personal style. So what I recommend is to pick 3 aesthetics and figure out what about those aesthetics you like. Is it a certain item? Is it what it expresses? What about those aesthetics really speak to you? And that's going to help you find your personal style. So not only will mixing different aesthetics help you find your personal style, but adding 3 things of personal flair will also help you achieve that. Personal flair are things that make you you. For example, 3 things that really resonate with me. 1 is fractals and sacred geometry. Another thing is the sun and stars and constellations. And then lastly, I'm really into folklore, specifically fairies. These 3 things speak to me, and I feel like they represent me pretty accurately, and so I find different ways to incorporate that in my personal style. Now, it can be through patterns, it can also be through jewelry, accessories. Finding little ways to incorporate that within your look help you stand out from other people who have maybe similar aesthetics. Another example can be, what's your favorite plant? Perhaps you want to incorporate your favorite plant in a pattern in a dress, or maybe you want little flowers pinned into your hair that are your favorite flower. Another example can be places that maybe you've traveled to, or places that you want to travel to, or places that you're from. Also, you're not limited to 3 things. You can have more than 3 things that you want to use to express yourself. And just because you like something doesn't necessarily mean you need to express yourself in your fashion that way. So make sure that the things that you're picking are things you actually want to use to help express yourself. There are definitely things that I like, but I don't necessarily want to express that within my fashion. Step 3 is all about Pinterest. If you're not on Pinterest, you need to be. Go ahead and go to your Pinterest. If you have a bunch of different boards with different aesthetics, go ahead and delete them. Just go ahead and delete them. You don't have to delete the pins, but delete the group, delete the album. I know I told you to look into different aesthetics, but don't have different Pinterest boards dividing it like that. You really only need one Pinterest board. You can label it inspo, you can label it whatever you want. Just have one Pinterest board to focus on and add those different aesthetics in there. Or really just focus on different pieces that you like, that you resonate with, instead of focusing on aesthetics that closely. I have a Pinterest board. It's literally just labeled inspo, and what's in there are a bunch of different things that I just resonate with and feel like me. Another tip is to add items that you already own that feel like you in there. It's really easy to deviate away from your wardrobe if you're constantly looking at and fantasizing about items that you don't have. So obviously in my Pinterest board, I have items that I have already purchased in my inspo. So when I'm going through my Pinterest board and I'm adding things to my Pinterest board, I'm keeping in mind what I already have and what I already love and that feels like me, and I'm seeing how these all mix together. If you already have things that you love, why wouldn't you have them in your Pinterest board? So romanticize the things that you already have by adding them into your Pinterest board. For those of you who are not familiar with Pinterest, you can actually add your own pins. So those outfits that you took before that felt very like you, go ahead and add that into your Pinterest board because those outfits spoke to you, they felt like you love them, and you already have those pieces in your wardrobe. And then Pinterest will also recommend pieces already within that kind of style to you because you have them in your board. So it's really good to add those photos in, and also to not focus on just different aesthetics, but really focus on pieces that speak to you. If you're someone who wants a smaller or more minimal wardrobe, it's really good to have a color palette in mind. So I highly recommend going onto Pinterest, typing in color palettes, and finding which one resonates with you, because this will help make your outfits more cohesive, and also you could have a lot less pieces if they all go together. Step 4 might be one of the funnest steps, and that is to try on items. So you're gonna go shopping, but you're not gonna buy anything. You're really just focusing on trying items on. Ever since COVID, the thrift stores that I have tend to not have places to try on clothes properly. They don't have dressing rooms. So I like to go into stores that have clothing that are brand new just to try on different styles and see what I like and what I don't like without committing to purchasing something like I would in a thrift store that I've never tried on before. Also, when you're going on and trying these things on, make sure that you have in the back of your mind that you're there to not buy anything. So if that means you need to not bring in your credit card or your wallet, absolutely do that, because you're just there to get a visual of what looks good on you and your body type. Now, you can do research before you go so you kind of have an idea of what you want to try on. If you want to try on things with square necks, or if you want to try things that are more form-fitting or less form-fitting, look up your body type and see what it recommends to you. But this is a great way to kind of have fun and also get ready into the buying spirit without spending any money, because you really just want to focus on what pieces look good on me, what do I like, does this color look good on me? Also, while you're trying things on, feel free to take pictures of the things that you like and add them to your Pinterest board and see how they mix in with what you have going on there. So step 5, the step that you're probably all waiting for, shopping. Now, before you run to the thrift store or run to your favorite store, you need to make a list of what you actually want to buy. So you're going to go back to your Pinterest board, you're going to look through the items, and you're going to make a very specific list of what you want to buy. Now, if you're an online shopper, it might be a little bit easier because you can do the Google Lens. And if you right-click on an item, you can select Google Lens and it will find similar items to that item on your Pinterest board. So make a list that is intentional and really try to avoid fantasy items. Fantasy items might not be so easy your first go through when you're trying to find your personal style because it is going to take some trial and error. Figure out pieces that you think are not only practical, but things that really speak to you and that you feel like you're going to feel yourself wearing. Once you have your list, you're going to start buying pieces, but I highly recommend doing this very slowly. Figure out what pieces would fill gaps in your wardrobe instead of just buying a whole new wardrobe. Figure out the pieces that would fill the gaps in your wardrobe with the stuff that you already have that feel like you. Also, a good question to ask yourself is, does this item go with 3 other things in my closet? Now, if you're starting completely from scratch, that might be a little bit harder, but if you already have some pieces in your wardrobe that you absolutely love, you should be figuring out ways to wear those items more, and the best way to do that is to find items that go with the items that you already have. So make sure that item that you're purchasing goes with 3 other things that you already love in your wardrobe. You should also be asking, do I feel myself in this piece? Try the piece on, take a picture, look back to your Pinterest board for reference, and look at the outfits that you've already put together that feel like you and see how they compare. A lot of the times I'll look back through my outfits and I'll easily say, nope, that doesn't fit my style. No, that's not going to feel like me, because I already have a reference point from those pictures that I've taken. And step 6 is the upkeep. Working on your personal style is a constant thing. You're constantly going to be changing your likes. You're constantly going to be changing what feels like you. So it's really good to go through your wardrobe every season and just make sure that those pieces that you have still resonate with you and still feel like you. It's perfectly okay to have pieces that you once loved no longer feel like you. You're constantly changing, you're constantly evolving, and it's okay to get rid of pieces that used to feel like you, but you're no longer resonating with. Something that I like to do is to put items on trial. So if I'm not feeling an item, sometimes I'll just put it away, store it away out of my view for 6 months. And if I don't reach for that item, then I know I can get rid of it. But sometimes I'll come back to that box and maybe I was just sick of looking at that item because I wore it so much, but I actually still like it and resonate with it, and then I didn't get rid of it permanently. This also helps me get rid of more when it's out of my view and I don't have to deal with it, but I know it's not permanently gone and I have that time to kind of think over it. Don't forget to focus on wearing the things that feel like you. Don't get into this pattern where you're constantly buying new things because you're really excited because you found your personal style. Really just focus on items that you already have and going out and wearing them. Make plans for that beautiful dress that you bought that feels like you. Don't let it go to waste and just sit in your closet and never be used. Make plans for your outfit so that you're going out and you're using your clothes and you're enjoying them. A lot of the times we get stuck into this pattern of constantly buying things, and then we end up with a bunch of stuff that we've just never used and we end up decluttering it. And lastly, learn to appreciate other people's styles without wanting to dip into it. I have seen so many really awesome styles and aesthetics, but I've learned to appreciate those for what they are, which is that person's personal style, and really just focus on appreciating my own personal style and my own personal flair. So make sure that you're taking that time to look at those pictures of you and the outfits that feel you and appreciate what you've put together and appreciate your own personal style without feeling the need to take someone else's personal style to add to your own. Focus on what you've put together and don't be influenced by everyone else around you. Hopefully you guys found these tips helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you guys don't miss any more of my content. Leave a comment down below on what's going to be the most challenging step for you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.